Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and for today's video we are continuing on with watching the Purge franchise, and for today we are talking about the first Purge. This is the fourth film in the franchise, but it is a prequel to the events of all of the previous films up to this point. So this one I found very interesting for kind of a number of reasons. I can definitely understand why they decided to go with the sequel. I feel like if they continued on with just doing another film like the previous ones, it'd be repetitive at this point following the second and third films. So I kind of liked this idea of a prequel and us seeing how the Purge got started. And general thoughts, I liked it. I thought it was a good film. Definitely think it played out very differently than the previous films. So with this one, it is set in Staten Island, New York, and this is where the first Purge obviously takes place. And it is made aware throughout the film that Staten Island is chosen as the location for this test because of the people that live there, because of the community. They address the fact that the well-off portions of the island fled pretty much early on, and the not so well-off parts of the community are directly being targeted for this test program. They are offered money. They are offered $5,000 if they stay on the island, and additional money if they participate, and they are tracked. They put trackers in them. They are also given these contacts, which granted the contacts were actually kind of cool looking, to film what they do, so that they can have video evidence of how the Purge is going, which I think very well sets up for the rest of the film. Like, if you are, obviously I'm watching these films in which they came out, but if you choose to watch the franchise more in order of watching this film before the rest, it definitely makes sense for the rest of the events of the other films, where, like I've talked about in those reviews, that it's the rich, wealthy elite and the government using this Purge to benefit themselves, and get rid of the kind of lower class of the world, or of the United States anyway. Now, I did go on Letterboxd and kind of look at some of the reviews. This film got a lot of kind of hate or dislike for being very slow, and it is pretty slow paced, I feel like, compared to the previous films, and these films get a little bit more like action films, I feel like, as they've gone on, than horror. But, and not just this one, like Election Year was kind of that way as well, but I feel like it makes sense for it to be a little bit more slow paced, because again, it is a prequel. We're building up the story for the rest of the events of the franchise. So we're getting kind of the ideas of, we're learning how the Purge came about, who the scientist was that developed this idea, and just, again, the community that's being targeted for this, and developing these characters throughout the film. So it makes sense, I feel like, for a prequel to be a little bit slower than the other films in the franchise. Now, there is something that I kind of wanted to bring up, and I would very much, if you are a person of color, I would definitely love your opinion on this, because I realized when I was looking on Letterboxd that this film is Black directed, which I think is really cool, and obviously needed for the context of this film and the community that is affected and everything that takes place. It is, however, still written by a white man, heavily produced. Now, because of that, I did decide to look at the rest of the films in the franchise, and the first 3 films are all written and directed by the same man. Happens to be a white man, and this is the first film in the franchise that is directed by a BIPOC. Hope I'm using that term correctly. And then the Purge Forever, which of course will be the next one I'm tackling, takes place in Texas, and it is directed by a Mexican-American director, and I am just not sure if that the fact of him bringing in these people of color to direct these films that are, the topics are clearly heavily affecting and targeted or about people of color for both this one and the following one, because it takes place in Texas, and I don't know if that is necessarily like a good thing of I'm doing these stories that directly affect these people, so I'm going to be bringing in directors to help tell those stories, or if it's more of him trying to like cover his own ass for the sake of the films. I'm not really sure, so just not really sure exactly how to feel about that. It rubbed me a little bit weird, but I guess let me know what your kind of opinion on that is, especially if you are a person of color. Let me know if I'm just like projecting something, or, you know, just let me know your thoughts, because I would love to know. But all in all, I did enjoy the film. I can understand I will say it did start to feel like it was running a little bit long, and I think the slow pace doesn't necessarily help with that. Won't say it's necessarily my favorite film in the franchise, which that I will be holding off to figure out until the end of watching all of these films. So, let me know what your thought is on the first Purge. Let me know what your thought is on this franchise as a whole, what your favorite film in the franchise is, and if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more horror-related content, and I will see you all again later with another video. Bye!